What we have is an officer. Once we've reached the officer and we've noticed that there's extreme loss of blood, an arterial shot will usually actually be squirting blood out of the body with every pump of the heart, rather than trickling down the arm from a more superficial wound. So what we first want to do is find these major arterial injuries, locate them, and it's very important that while you're doing this, interacting with the officer. Officer Ryan and Sergeant Kirk, you're going to be fine, you're going to make it through this.
It is the Tactical Combat Casualty Care Program. It was originally developed by some of my operations officers that have spent a great many years in the armed forces. We've learned a lot over the years during the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq about long-term care, or short-term care for major injuries. For instance, tourniquet application used to be considered somewhat of a dangerous proposition, risk to limb if the tourniquet was left on for too long of a time. But now, as you've seen with the tourniquets that we've looked at, they're very substantial, very well made, and they're designed for long term, and by that I mean an hour or more wear. We've been fortunate. One of the early results was some of our officers were called to a shooting scene. They saw a man who was obviously shot a couple of times in the upper torso and in the arm, and during that incident they utilized both the tourniquet and the pressure bandages that we had talked about earlier. He was transported by the medics to Grant Hospital in stable condition.
The benefits that we've learned quite a lot about treating traumatic wounds, and that transfers into both police work and injured citizens.